You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Let's talk about New Zealand and talk about their chances of winning this World Cup in India in 2023. Their captain is Kane Williamson. They haven't won a Cricket World Cup as yet, but there have been runners-up in 2015 and 2019. The squad that they've selected for this World Cup is as follows. Williamson, Bolt, Chapman, Conway, Ferguson, Henry, Latham, Mitchell, Neesham, Phillips, Ravindra, Satner, Sodhi, Southey and Young. And that's the squad New Zealand have assembled for this World Cup in India. New Zealand. As we know, for New Zealand, it was a heartbreaking 2019 final against England. As we all know, it was controversial for obvious reasons. They played well in that final. Heartbreak of losing a World Cup final like that. But it was one of the best World Cup finals that we've seen in living memory, especially in the history of the Cricket World Cup. For New Zealand to make it to two World Cup finals in 2015, which was a home tournament for them in Australia and New Zealand, and in 2019 is a great achievement in itself. And it just shows that New Zealand are a team that punch above their weight. A small cricketing nation, really, in a country that's dominated with rugby. Cricket's often pushed to one side, but New Zealand cricket has had many challenges over the years, but in World Cups they seem to bring out their best and perform well on the world stage. It's a very different squad to 2019 for New Zealand, but they do have some members that were a part of the 2019 campaign. Obviously, Kane Williamson, Trent Boult, Lockie Ferguson, Matt Henry, Tom Latham, Jimmy Neesham, Mitchell Satner, Ish Sodhi, and Tim Southey are the squad members that were a part of the 2019 team that are playing in this World Cup in India. They've got some new players as well who weren't there in 2019. So the squad is different in some aspects, but you have a look at their squad. It's pretty good. They've got some good batters and good bowlers who are more than capable of performing on the world stage. Obviously for New Zealand, it's good to see Kane Williamson back, the inspirational leader. It was a bit of touch and go for Kane Williamson. As we know, early in the year when he was playing in the IPL, he had that horrible ACL injury where he had to have a full knee reconstruction, which was going to set him back for this World Cup. But he managed to do all that, do the recovery, the rehab, all that stuff. And he's back for this World Cup, which is just remarkable and a miracle for New Zealand and their fans. Obviously, he is not going to play the first game due to injury, but most likely will come back as the tournament progresses for New Zealand. But he's definitely one of those important players for New Zealand with the bat, and they'll definitely rely on him. Obviously, New Zealand have gone through a bit of a change in their one-day setup, their team transitioning, obviously. They haven't selected Martin Guptill for this World Cup, obviously. So just indicating, looking towards the future as well. And that's what the squad that they've selected here is all about. But as I mentioned, they have good batters and good bowlers. Their batting's pretty good, quality players who've performed consistently and have done well on the world stage. Kane Williamson's one of them. Devon Conway has been a revolution since he's come into international cricket. Tom Latham's reliable. Daryl Mitchell's in best career form at the moment. Glenn Phillips can be dangerous. Rachin Ravindra, the young all-rounder, he's pretty talented with the bat as well. Will Young is a young, exciting player. And Mark Chapman is also a very handy batter as well. So their batting is pretty strong. Their bowling's pretty good. You've got Trent Boult, who's obviously going to be one of the important bowlers for New Zealand in this World Cup. You've got Tim Southee, Ish Sodhi with the spin, along with Satner. Ravindra can also bowl spin as well. Matt Henry is good. He's reliable. Lockie Ferguson can bowl pace. And then you've got Daryl Mitchell and Jimmy Neesham, who can bowl a few overs of part-time medium paces. So they've got all bases covered there, New Zealand. So you can't write New Zealand off. I think despite the challenges that New Zealand may face in this World Cup, you can't write them off. As I mentioned before, they're a team that always do well in World Cups, perform. They always punch above their weight. And they always do well. They perform well. So I don't think we should write them off for making the semi-finals. Obviously, making it to 2 World Cup finals is a great achievement in itself. So Kane Williamson and his New Zealand side, they'll be hoping to replicate that sort of feat again, making it to 3 World Cup finals. I think that's going to be a proud achievement if they can do that. But for New Zealand, just to finish off about their squad and before we move on, a good squad. They've got some good players who are talented, skilled, good batting, good bowling. They can definitely run towards the semi-finals. They can definitely feature towards the back end of the tournament if they play well. But we shall see what New Zealand can do in this World Cup in 2023. The Dibbly Dobbly Podcast has you covered for the ICC Cricket World Cup for 2023. We will be providing previews, reviews of the tournament, plus live streams and watch-alongs of all Australia's ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 matches. Any selected matches throughout the tournament, semi-finals and final. Also, we will be providing match reviews of all Australia's ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 matches, plus semi-finals and final. Make sure you subscribe to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast YouTube channel so you don't miss out on all of our ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 coverage.